Hey, welcome to our discussion today, everyone. I'm Preston Barton, Vice President of Trade Compliance Solutions at Descartes Systems Group. I'm honored to have Jonathan PRIGANC. He's the Director of Business Systems for Commercial and Corporate Affairs at Meggitt PLC. Jonathan, welcome.
Good to be here, Preston.
Yeah, thanks for joining me today. So for our discussion today, we want to talk about a number of compliance issues, specifically how Meggitt tackles a lot of compliance and regulatory requirements that they're probably uniquely challenged with, just given their aerospace and defense industry that they serve. So tell me a little bit about your role at Meggitt.
So as you mentioned before, my role is I'm the Director of Business Systems for our Corporate and Commercial Affairs organization, which encompasses our legal department, our commercial organization, contracts, and our trade compliance function. Meggitt is a leading aerospace and defense provider with a focus in also a small amount of business within our selected energy markets. So we're on most Western aircraft, just about every Western aircraft that flies. So we spend a lot of time dealing with various import and export regulations across various regimes, from the US through Europe, the United Kingdom, Australia, and throughout Southeast Asia. So we have a very unique set of challenges sometimes when it comes to how we handle the export of our products to make sure we're in compliance with all of those regulations.
That's great. So we interface with you in a number of areas in our trade compliance solutions business here. Maybe just to give some of our viewers some context, Jonathan, can you briefly outline how Meggitt uses, let's start with Descartes CustomsInfo, our global trade content library?
So with CustomsInfo, we use a few products within that product group. So we use a lot of the automated data feeds. So we, on a nightly basis, will actually pull down USML categories. We pull down classification updates into our primary automated solution is our SAP GTS, Global Trade Solution, GTS.
Sure.
So we pull the data feeds into there to help our employees have accurate data for classification of products, as well as we also use the CI reference products offered by Descartes to help with the classification process. So that includes things like explanatory notes, previous rulings, and it brings a number of the different areas that we need to look at for classification and import data into one solution that has been tremendous in time savings for our organization.
That's great. So classification research happens initially in CustomsInfo reference, but once decisions are being made, where you're actually making those classifications, codifying that, getting your item compliance data together, that's all in SAP GTS,
yes,
which utilizes a lot of the Descartes global trade content inside of that system as well. That's correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You nailed that on the head. So within GTS, it's helpful because, as many of you know, if you've dealt with this, we will the governments will update those classifications on a sometimes biannual basis. In certain countries, it's more frequent than that.
Sure.
And by having that automated data feed from Descartes, we don't have to manually go through and determine which products have changed. We get a new data file from Descartes when those changes happen. We click one button in the system and it shows us right away, here's every product that changed. And if it's a one-to-one change, we click one other button and those classifications are updated. So without having that automated solution in place, it would be a very time-consuming process to have to go through our ERP systems, look at the regulations, determine what has changed, and then manually go through and update all of those classifications.
Specifically, why did you choose the Descartes CustomsInfo and Global Trade Content solution from Descartes?
So Meggitt looked at that. They looked at a few vendors in that area, and from what the breadth of data that we were able to get through Descartes was what attracted us to the solution. So we were able to get, as I mentioned, HTS classification data, USML classification data, as well as things such as rules of origin. So as we look towards the future and wanting to take more advantage of free trade agreements, we now have those rules of origin in the system to help make that happen. As we continue to roll out our GTS solution to more countries, we're able to quickly talk to Descartes and get the classification files or any of the country specific files we need if we're operating in any new country. So it's really reduced the effort we have when we want to deploy in new countries based on where our business is growing. So that was one of the key drivers, I think, to going the Descartes CustomsInfo route, was just, again, a massive amount of knowledge already into one place, and we didn't have to try to pull different data from various different sources.
That's great. So Tell me about integrating that with GTS. How easy has it been to integrate that global trade content into your trade management environment?
It's a very simple process. In fact, because the data we get from Descartes, they've already worked with SAP on what those data structures look like. So the files we get are already structured specifically for GTS. So we do have a small upload program that runs on a nightly basis that pulls those data files in and updates them directly within GTS. So it's a very seamless process. We have it all automated. So if there's an error, we have to go in and look, but that's a rare occasion that happens.
Sure.
And then if there is in the case of something like Brexit, we're able to quickly add a new file in. So with the UK now being separate, there will be different rules there, and we can get the new list types directly for the UK and just add those in separate from the EU lists.
That's great. I know we've been very fortunate to collaborate with you and a number of others in the user community, as well as our trade management partners themselves, to really just better understand what content and data challenges they're facing, what new things we have to source, how to get that to work in the system. So that's been a great journey that we've been fortunate to be on with you. Talk a little bit about ECCN and USML. That's obviously an area where you have to spend a lot of time given your aerospace and defense industry. Is that data that's benefiting you, that you're using, et cetera?
Yes, it is. So we're able to pull that data into the system, so we don't have to go through and enter the thousands of different options for
Sure.
by hand for what actual classifications could be. So when we are classifying our products for export, we're able to easily just select from the list, and we know that is an accurate and valid list at the time of the classification. And in the case if there are any classifications that have changed, such as during ECR, when that started, we're able to quickly go in and say, okay, show us all of the parts that are affected because of the various categories that we're changing. So yeah, knowing those were accurate classifications was key to the accuracy of our data.
Sure, that's great. So is the Descartes Global Trade Content Solution, is that something that you'd recommend to other businesses that are looking to cross the same chasm, prop up trade management, handle key compliance issues?
Absolutely. I've actually worked with Descartes in previous organizations I've been in, and it's sort of the go-to, I would say, within our industry of who can provide this data and provide it in a format that we need. So I would absolutely recommend it. Preston, you and I we've worked together on different projects, and I consider Descartes a key partner for us as we look to build out our compliance programs and start to look even more on some of our import and where we can save additional revenue, save money for our organization through the use of some of the tools that Descartes offers us. That's
great. Well, Jonathan, I sincerely thank you for all of your great feedback and collaboration today. It's been a pleasure spending time with you. I look forward to continuing to support you on this journey and doing everything we can to make sure that all of your trade compliance projects are a resounding success. And I wish you well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Preston. I appreciate it.